Brenda, are you there? Hi, good afternoon, Brenda. How are you?
I'm good, Nate. How about you?
I'm doing very well. I'm so happy to see you. Thanks for bearing with us as we were trying to get that connection to get all lined up, but I think we're good to go now.
Good.
Well, I was teaching everyone, Brenda, that you were the administrative services manager in our development office, but of course, you're so much more than that. You've been with the organization for quite a while, and we'll get into all that. I want to just go ahead and kick off with my first question here. Can you tell us what brought you to UMFS and how long you've been here?
Sure. Back in '86, I felt like my daughter and I needed a change. We were living in Farmville, and I thought about moving to Richmond. So I sent out some resumes to UMFS, U of R, and Johnston Willis Hospital, and luckily I got an interview with all three. I was offered a job with U of R and UMFS, but after visiting UMFS, I just fell in love with the agency and knew this was where I wanted to be. I started in September of '86. I did leave in December of '92, and I went to Trinity UMC I was gone for about 5 years, and then I came back in December of '97. Just celebrated my 24th anniversary in December. So with both my first 6 years and my 24, I've been here for 30 years.
That's amazing. We're so happy that you chose UMFS over some of those other area organizations that we love and hold dear. But of course, we're just so happy to have you on our team here and glad that you've chosen to work with us on two occasions.
Thanks. It's been great. I feel like I've gone full circle.
Absolutely. And you mentioned, 30 years total with UMFS. I mean, that's quite a run for any organization, but I would say leading into our next question, you must have witnessed a lot of changes to our campus right here in Richmond and really to the organization as a whole. Can you talk about what's been the most noticeable change that you've witnessed?
Sure. Actually, there are three changes that I've noticed. In the '90s, we built Guardian Place 1 and Guardian Place 2, which is housing for our seniors. In the early 2000s, we had a campaign and we built our charter house school. And we did have to tear down one building, Pop Smith's home, for that. And then just recently, our front property, we've leased the land and we've got the apartments out front and the new building for our kids on the backside.
Absolutely. And we're so excited to have seen all of this change. Of course, for those who may not be aware, UMFS has been on Broad Street in Richmond since 1900. So we are just over our 120-year anniversary, and we're experiencing a lot of positive change and growth, as Brenda mentioned. And Brenda, as we're thinking about all of this change and growth, we know that this is difficult work sometimes. So I would ask you, what keeps you coming back?
Okay, it's the work we do, working with kids and families, making a difference in their lives. Our staff, we have such awesome, caring staff, and I have a wonderful team that I just love. And UMFS is family to me.
Oh, that's so well said. And we hear that often when we have the opportunity to interview many of our unwavering champions who work on this team and around the state at our 9 locations. Development is a wonderful office. As you mentioned, I began my UMFS career development office. And so I already know the answer to this next question, but I'm going to ask it. What that you like to do in your spare time to sort of recharge and come back refreshed to the office?
Okay. Well, first of all, every day I try to remember to be grateful and thankful for everything that I've been allowed to have in my life. What I really like to do is spend time with my dogs. I have two Boston Terriers who are spoiled rotten. And I also love music, so I like to play music, dance around my home. I like to take my dogs on walks. Um, I call my mom every day. When the weather's nice, I love to be outside with my dogs, working in my yard, spending time with friends and family.
Yeah, and that's so beautiful to hear because I knew that you had such a great relationship with your mother and of course the pups. You used to talk to me all the time about the dogs and you mentioned that they're
Yeah.
spoiled. And I can attest to that from at least what you've told me. They are certainly very well treated animals.
Yes, they are. I make their food for them every week. They don't eat anything that's store-bought.
Well, another thing that is so unique about you and sort of this historical knowledge that you have about UMFS after 30 years combined with the organization is you often have a connection with some of the alumni, especially alumni who lived at UMFS when it was still a children's home before we came residential care for young people at Child and Family Healing Center. Can you talk a little bit about those UMFS alum, how often you hear from them, and what sorts of things they're saying?
Sure. I used to hear from them more pre-COVID, but I am a member of their Facebook page. So Beth DeVore is very good about posting when it's someone's birthday. So I send out birthday wishes to them. I'm also friends with a lot of the alum on Facebook. Um, so, we chat. Sometimes an alum will call and they've been out of touch, and I take their information, I pass it on to Beth, and she's in contact with that person to get them set up in the group and connect it with everyone. Because, they miss their brothers and sisters and they want to reconnect. Um, I love the alum. I really miss seeing them. They're a special group of people. And they do keep up with all the changes. I've seen their postings on their page, like the drawings, pictures from the front entrance. So, they keep up with everything.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that they follow us on they have a Facebook community, and you get to hear from them there in the development office. They'll call you sometimes, send you emails. And it is so nice to have that connection with people who have been involved with UMFS and how you can hear about the ways in which it's touched their lives. And you can sort of
Mhm.
progression with the different age groups as you move through some of the folks who lived here when it was the home, and now of course with Child and Family Healing Center we still have the privilege of being in touch with some of the young people who have commenced from that program and moved on. So thank you for sharing about that connection that you have with our alum. It's valuable and so appreciated. Last question as we're moving toward the end of this interview here on UMFS Live. Wondering if you, Brenda, can talk about something that's impacted you personally from working at UMFS, and maybe elaborate on that for us, please.
Okay. It was back in the 90s. I hadn't been here very long, and I was out one day and I saw the police come and pick up one of our young teenage boys, and they took him off in handcuffs and shackles, and that just broke my heart. I'd never seen a teen handcuffed or shackled before. Our services were so different back then. We used to restrain kids, which we don't do now. But on a happier note, I love our commencements. It's just it's a special time for our kids when they've successfully completed the program, and we have a little celebration. And I think it's just awesome to see how the kids blossom during their stay. Sometimes when they come in, they won't even look you in the face. They won't speak to you, and they're just so different when they leave. And it's just neat to hear them talk of their time here and their hopes and plans for the future.
Absolutely, and you mentioned it so well. I mean, the services and really the the environment has changed so much from when you mentioned that first experience of seeing a young person being taken out by police, and it's just so much different now. I think there's a much different understanding. Part of what we're doing with our new Child and Family Healing Center is really using that research and that understanding about the ways in which young people, teens and children and their families can thrive in a residential program. So I think we've learned a lot
Yes,
over the years. So nice
we
to see.
have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Brenda, this has been amazing. We appreciate you. I cannot believe, I don't even think I realized it had been 30 years total, but we're so happy that you
Yeah.
with us at UMFS, and I'm so grateful that you joined me here on UMFS Live. I want to thank everyone who tuned into UMFS Live today and all season long. Again, we're wrapping up this season, and we'll be in touch on Instagram and on our Facebook page with information about our next season of UMFS Live, which we're planning. So Brenda, thank you again so much, and I hope I get to see you again soon.
I hope so too. And thanks for inviting me. It was nice.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure, and we appreciate you. Everyone watching at home, thanks so much. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, you too, Nate.
Goodbye.
Bye.